Hello, good
Hi.
afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever it is at the time that you are watching this. But we are live on the show that we call Doing Life with Sam and Kiri. And we are a married couple, 4 children residing in Gold Coast, as those who watch would know. And we are pastors of Destiny Church Gold Coast. And we also have, my wife runs a successful online business. We look into investments, we own our own home, we're on the move all the time, always trying to advance it in life. And just this show really was based around how we can help people with everyday things and talk some stuff to do with life, with marriage, with children, with your belief, with faith, with business, with mindset, and with, I suppose, coming off the back of last week, just touching on that, is we spoke about how to get total freedom, and we talked about dealing with the deeper heart issues and how you can get breakthrough. And sometimes in life that can be the ceiling on your potential if you don't deal with stuff deep in and be able to flourish better. So look, I encourage you, if that was a very good one actually, the response from that was amazing. So I'd encourage anyone who didn't see it last week, it'll be posted just a few posts down from this one. But today, we're pretty excited about this topic. It's pretty practical, a down-to-earth one, but really it's something where the gold is in breakthrough in your personal life and moving forward. So, honey, do you want to look at that one?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today for our midweek check-in on Doing Life with Sam and Kiri. And that was a good little bio on us, honey. Short, sharp, and boom. Give everyone a bit of an update. If you've joined us, if you've joined us for the first time, maybe curious about what this is all about, then there you go. But yeah, as Sam said, we've got what we wanted to talk about today, and a question I've got for you is how many of us have said, I need to get some motivation towards whatever it is that we need to achieve. I just need some motivation, or
I'm not feeling motivated.
Yeah, I'm not feeling motivated at the moment, or the old I'm just not feeling it. A lot of us have often found ourselves in that situation, and I guess that's where, as the title of the live is, we wanted to discuss with you guys and just share some of our own thoughts and our personal experiences on what the difference in motivation versus discipline.
Yeah.
And like I said at the beginning, the question was like, how many of us have asked or said, I need a bit of motivation? And I guess coming straight into it, like for me, so when I think of motivation, it's, like I said, I'm just not feeling motivated, or I'm just not feeling it. I feel like a motivation is like an emotion. It's like a feeling, So when I think of emotions, they're hella unreliable.
That's right.
They're so up and down and fickle, and
everywhere.
I'm feeling it. No, I'm not feeling it. I'm keen. I'm not keen. It's just it's quite an emotional sort of like a feeling. And yeah, when I think about feelings, like you know how the saying everyone always says, "Oh, all in the feels," or "hit me in the feels." Like it's a sort of like a short term
Little fix.
feeling, you know what I mean? Like that's what I believe that motivation's amazing, by the way. Like I hope it doesn't come across as like a negative thing. It's not a negative thing, but I think for the long haul and for change and for application to your life regularly, like the truth is we ain't always going to be feeling it. Not always going to have that motivation to see us through.
And that's the thing, like when you think about motivation, most of the time it comes from outside. There is being self-motivated, but a lot of the time you're looking for a motivational speaker,
Inspiration,
a motivational song to run to, a motivational book, a motivational trophy that can make me move. But we've got to realize that, as my wife said, if we're relying on those things, we are relying on external things.
Yeah,
and
true that.
Relying on external things can be dangerous because, let's be honest, things change, environments change, conditions change. And sometimes you can even get familiar with all the beautiful words and wisdom and some of the environment that you've got around you. And now it's not motivational anymore. Before it used to fire you up and make you move. So that's where we wanted to start to discuss the other side of things. But I think we wanted to just start out with, what is motivation? You know, you might be listening today and, you know, you feel like you're stuck in a rut and you're like, oh, I just need some motivation, just to be creative, or I need... And a lot of the time, you're trying to draw from an outward thing.
Yeah.
But when you think of, you know, even the Word, the Bible, and the faith and Christianity, a lot of it speaks about it is within you, or it's Christ in us, or the kingdom of God is within you. So there's something that you have within you that gives you the power and the motivation to move forward. Is probably more reliant because you make a decision, you choose, and you're not governed by these outward external things. So
I think
a few
that's
thoughts
so
there.
good. And it's true that often, like, it's that's inspiration. Often motivation is sparked from inspiration. So say, for example, if it's I always think of like a health journey, because I think that's what people tend to, you know, be motivated by, seeing somebody else get amazing results, someone else's transformation, somebody else exercising regularly, whatever it is. Like, it's often an inspiration, like Sam said, from something external, which is great. That's an amazing thing. Like, being inspired, being motivated is great. But when you rely on motivation to get things done, that's dangerous. Because like we said, it's unreliable. Feelings and emotions are unreliable, and they can't be trusted, because it will change. Our feelings and our emotions will change. And even when you're saying, like, based on external things, sometimes it can just be like even seasons. I think about, you know, like a lot of people, everyone's motivated to start training and joining up to the gym at the beginning of summer. Everyone's motivated, and then as soon as like the weather starts to get cooler and the mornings get darker, and, you know, sometimes a lot of those things, like you said, the externals can impact our motivation. But the danger of that is that you're always going to rely on something else or someone else to
feed you that.
Yeah, to fuel you to get the job done. When in the end, the reality is everyone who has succeeded in anything knows that it really comes down to what you do all on your own, without the motivation, without the inspiration. It's actually something that you do. So you want anything else on that motivation before we move on?
No, we can move on.
Yeah, well, what I wanted to just say, like, moving on to discipline, one thing I think about discipline, like when I look at motivation's a feeling. You know, it's like, I feel motivated, I've been inspired. Whereas for me, discipline to me is like a decision. Yeah. It's actually a decision. Like, not a matter of how I feel, I've decided. It's like a decided heart. And so when I think about the difference with discipline, is when you've made a decision, then it's a commitment. It's actually a commitment that you make. And that's why, you know, like, people who succeed in any area of life are often extremely disciplined. And they've made a commitment to whatever it is, when they feel like it, when they don't feel like it. They'll get up 5 o'clock in the morning, head to the gym when they feel like it, when they don't feel like it. They'll build their business, turn up to their workplace consistently when they feel like it and don't feel like it. It's not based on motivation. When the motivation's low, they still show up. And I think, so yeah, for me, discipline's like a decision.
Yeah,
That's
it
what
is.
I've got down.
It's a decision, decisive.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all about that. And really, probably with discipline comes pain. Like, it's not nice to have to get up early. It's not nice to have to train. It's not nice to have to budget for the house you want to buy. It's not nice to eat broccoli when you want to eat ribs. You know, it's not nice. But the discipline is where the gold is. And we start out with a hiss and a roar, like, man, I want to, you know, for my family, and we even can have a cry and tears, and so, you know, I'm doing this, man, and we're going to live by the beach, or I'm going to get that body, and, you know, I'm going to get that car, and, man, I'm sick of not having time with my kids. I'm going to start this business. But without discipline, look, you can have all the motivation and cry and speak and shout it out and say, Lord, help me, and let it be, Lord, and all these different things. But if you're not disciplined, if you don't take the steps necessary to be a learned teacher under the pathway of whatever it takes. So if it's budgeting, you need to be disciplined. You need to be an avid learner of how to not only make
Manage.
money, but manage it. Not only manage it, but seal the hole under the bucket called buying buckets of KFC or buying going out for lunch every second day or evening, or some people in a position to do that, but others, you're not at the stage. So that's a discipline. Just like running the pavement's a discipline. Getting up early to read or to go for a walk or do the exercise is a discipline. And it's something we don't want to probably discuss and talk about too much. We kind of just want a nice rainbow to appear. We walk to the end and get the gold. But life has proven to us that the man who's succeeded or the woman who's succeeded, the picture looks beautiful, but we don't see behind that picture. If you were to remove the frame off the wall, there's all the hard work, the tears, the sweat, the times of wanting to give up and this is too hard. And that's what sets someone who succeeds and is victorious apart from someone who really just doesn't want to succeed. And that's very harsh, but people who say, oh, I want this and I want that, but their actions don't match their words, they truly don't want it. Because if you truly wanted it, you would move earth and move heaven and hell and everything else to make that thing come to pass. And I think that's part of it too, is that the drive and the reason why has to be a burning desire in you as well. So just to say that discipline, usually that word is not a nice word to think about, but it's actually the key word to open the many doors of success, really.
Good. I love that. So when I think about discipline, like we said, one thing I said first of all was that motivation to me is like a feeling, an emotion, which changes regularly, all the time. Whereas discipline is a decision, like Sam said, it's decisive, it's very clear and it knows. And what I love is when you have disciplines in place, it means that it's not when you feel like it, when you don't feel like it, it's something you do in and out, morning and night, day after day after day, which means it leads to consistency. And when you have discipline and you have consistency, you're set up for success, to be honest.
I think
that's all right. It's inevitable.
I think it's
inevitable.
Important to note too, before you move on, Hannah, is that discipline is not perfection. There's going to be mornings where you didn't get up. There's going to be that time where you did eat the pie or the burger.
The donut. You ate the donut.
You ate the donut. You ate the pizza bread. But there's all these different things. But the difference between someone that's going to make it is that when they fall off the wagon, they don't stay off the wagon. They stand up, get back up, chase the wagon down, help me, whoever it might be, my partner, my friend, my wife, my husband, help me back up on the wagon. And then you start again. And so it's quite, I admire people who have a lifestyle of training or have a lifestyle of disciplined business practices, or they're very sharp with their dress or whatever it is, because they've made a decision to make it a lifestyle, not a little season or an 8-week challenge. Here we go now. I'm going to do this 8-week challenge or this 10-week challenge, and then you're a blob again. I'm going to do another 8-week challenge. Not being sad, but the thing is, what's probably more beautiful is to see someone that just is disciplined, and they're not going to be in perfect shape all the time, but they've chose a lifestyle of discipline. So I didn't mean any disrespect, by the way, but just the reality of that we need to make these lifestyle decisions that it becomes, I suppose, a lifelong discipline, really.
So true. And that's it, like Sam's saying, is when we make those decisions consistently, and no matter how we feel, it becomes that consistent activity that we do. And as as a lot of people know, consistency, it compounds. It has a snowball effect. So initially it may not seem like a big deal. So if you think about, let's talk, you said a 12-week challenge or a 6-week challenge, whatever. But let's talk about, say, on a physical sense, or, your healthy eating. it may not seem like a big deal. Like, how many people know that if I went and ate a Big Mac for lunch after this, is that a big deal? It's not a big deal, eh?
For you, it probably is.
No, but
you don't
no,
really like Big Macs.
but
no.
it's not a big deal, though, eh? Like
Yeah.
in reality, like
Nah,
if
that's
I
not
was
a big
to say,
deal.
if everyone
No,
was,
that's not a big
if I
deal.
posted up a picture and said I had a Big Mac for lunch, everyone wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, you had a Big Mac for lunch.
Yeah.
It's so bad. That's not a big deal. However, if I had a Big Mac for lunch every day
There you go.
for 365 days
Oh,
for
wow.
a year, would that be a
Be
problem and a
upsizing
big
you.
deal?
Upsizing you, girl.
Yeah, it would be a problem. And the thing is, like, it's that consistency and that compounded
Ah, there
for
you
the
go.
positive
Compounded.
or for the negative.
The same
So-
with money too.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. It's the same, but I just thought I'd give you that illustration. Like, it may not seem like a big deal. Your ill disciplines
Yep.
may not seem like a big deal, or even your positive disciplines may not seem like, oh, I'm not going to change that much. All I'm doing is doing a 2-kilometer walk every day. It's not that big a deal. However, do that for 365 days, and it's going to
Yep.
make a big change because it compounds into the bigger picture and into that success. So
Beautiful.
yes, that's what I was thinking about, discipline and consistency, and why you shouldn't, like, don't just sort of, what's the word? Don't sort of just like cast it aside like it's not a big deal when you're doing positive changes in your life, like lifestyle changes, because it's going to compound and it's going to be, an amazing habit for you, and it's going to be an amazing discipline for you and a routine for you that is going to compound, and it is going to bring about success in that way. But yeah, that's discipline.
And you become more fluent in it. Like, the more you do it, and it compounds. The kickbacks from the compounded effect as it goes on are far bigger. So it's not just like what you saw in the first week, in the first month. If you get into the years,
Yeah.
2 years, 3rd year, 5th, 6th year of doing the discipline or
Yeah.
the business or the physical thing, the results are just amazing.
Yes.
And here's another point I've got too. It's related, but it's a bit something that I think anyone listening here today is that, they sometimes think, oh, he's more talented or got more energy or more sharp with business stuff, or this one's gifted or talented. And there's a saying, consistency, what is it? Oh, hard work or consistency beats talent when talent doesn't consistently work hard, or something
True,
like that.
that's
Bit of a
good.
mouthful.
Yeah, I like that.
But basically it's saying, and I've been guilty of this, because you might find things easy, or you're
Comes
gifted at a
naturally to
certain
you,
thing,
eh?
you can just rock up and do it. But if you hone in on it as a gifted person, just talk about first, if you hone in on that, you can even go much further. But then someone who is consistent, and someone who's got the gift and sleeps on that gift, and
Yeah.
kind of just uses it flippantly, is a bit lazy with it, that one who's consistent eventually will outrun them,
Surpass them, eh?
and they'll surpass them, yes, and they'll go on to
True.
probably take their job and lead and do different things. And so that's one thing as well, is that a lot of time people's character and their disciplines fail them, even though they might have the gift and the talent and the
Yeah.
ability, but they keep dropping back to the same level.
Yeah.
And it's sad to see, and it can be frustrating for them and for their families. But I just think that ties in nicely
Yeah,
with
it does.
consistency,
I think
discipline.
it all kind of marries in together, because if you think about discipline, consistency, and diligence, it's all kind of, they go hand in hand. They kind of like tie in together.
Yeah.
People who have that discipline consistently are diligent with what they've got. They're diligent with what's in their hands. So
Yeah.
that's why they are consistent, because they do see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And I think it's having that bigger, seeing further ahead,
Yeah.
why people make decisions to remain consistent. And I think, for me, the biggest thing is decision. I find that's the hardest thing people can make, is actually a decision of what they want. I've heard over many, many years, I've heard them share their goals, share their dreams, share
Yeah.
where they want to be in a year from now, share where they want to be in 6 months from now, in all aspects of life. And sadly, majority of the time it's like, yeah, probably, or, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And then even more unfortunate is if it comes from people who always say it but never really follow through, it's sort of a bit like their reputation precedes them.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, they always say they're gonna do that, but they don't follow through. And that's where the motivation. See, often people will get inspiration, and I feel like talented people or creative people can get a lot of inspiration easy, like it comes like so naturally. But then the hard thing from there is actually the execution. It's the follow through.
That's
it's
right.
like, oh, okay, I see this great big picture, but I don't want to do all the steps in between to get there. I just want the big picture. And it's like, well, yeah, everyone wants the big picture. But what you do daily that gets you the big picture.
It's even crack up, oh, we should do this for church, or we should do that. You can do it. Like,
yeah, we should.
why are you coming to me? Like, you want me to implement your creative idea? But that's the thing, like, it's easy, not easy, for some it is, but we can come up with the idea and the creative sort of vehicle, but it's actually who's going to drive it, who's going to turn up, who's going to make it happen. And that's what the life, like the stop and start is probably the most painful reason why we don't get to our blessed destination. Because we drive and we're like, and then the brakes are on.
Yes.
Because I don't feel motivated.
Yes.
Or, or we're fighting, or, I want to go and, spend all this money and do this. So now you have to delay the deposit now. We're going to have 10 or 15 or 20 grand for a deposit.
True that.
But now you're stopped because you decided that you wanted to take this big trip overseas. Nothing wrong with that, by the way, but you just made a decision.
Yeah.
So the stop-start mindset.
You lose momentum, eh?
Yeah, you lose
your
momentum. But like it happens time and time again. Like people are like, oh, we're going to buy our own home, or we're on this health journey, or we're just going to go hard in ministry. But then they seem to just do this, or, it's like a very painful.
Yeah. I think too,
thing.
the key, like Sam was saying, like discipline is not perfection. Like discipline, but it is being able to sort of pull yourself back up again and get back on track, and that's how I see it. So I'll give you guys an example, my own personal experience recently, as I did a 6-week challenge. No, I did, and I really enjoyed it. And for 3 weeks straight, I was like, mate, no flinch, not even a little bit of just gonna have a little bit of a cheat meal. I was so solid, and then it come up to it's all his fault. Nah. Sam's birthday, and I consciously made a decision that I was gonna, and I call it a refeed, a refeed weekend. No.
It was premeditated too, eh?
It was, so it was okay. Like, and I knew this, and my whole intention was like, yes.
And I was like, no, honey, we don't have to. Yeah. It's up to you.
And then I was like, just those 2 days, and then back on track. Oh my gosh, it was like, it wasn't just like I got derailed. It was like a train wreck. It was so hard to get back on track. Like, I'm just being real with you. And so that's where, for me, in hindsight, I'm like, damn, that wasn't really worth it. Like, I should have just stayed the course, stayed consistent. And yeah, but hey, no drama. Like, life goes on. It doesn't mean that I've lost all of my discipline. Like, obviously, carry on. But I was able to see towards the end of that challenge, like, darn, I could have done better. I could have had a better result. I could have been more prouder of my consistency to stay disciplined. So that's just a little example. But just for you to see, like, it doesn't mean perfection, but it does mean that when you do fall off, or you make a mistake, or, like if it's to do with your work, or even your family and your relationships, like, I think to apply this even discipline and motivation into like a marriage relationship is important as well, because you can't, like I said to somebody one time, of course we love each other, but I said, you're not always going to feel it. Like, you're not always going to feel like, oh, I love you so much, my darling. Like, there's going to be some days or seasons where you're like, oh man, things are full on at the moment and we're just busy, whatever. But it doesn't mean that you don't consistently show that love. So I'm just saying, like, you can't allow it to become an emotional journey in all aspects of your life.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it's like, I feel good, I'm going to treat you well today. I don't feel so good, so you're going to get me snapping at you all day. You know what I mean? Like, all those kinds of things. And discipline is what steps in when your emotions start going AWOL.
Yeah.
That's when discipline steps in and says, this is where we get things, it's kind of like, what's the word? Like solid. It's like that solid stability and that foundation that keeps you not going up and down like that in those emotions. And that's where I guess motivation can be a little bit dangerous in that sense. But like I said, motivation's amazing. I love being motivated and inspired.
Of course.
But one thing I don't love being is only motivated and inspired and never actually doing anything about it.
Well, we're talking about relying on it as the source of your drive.
Yeah.
Like that can't be your main fuel. It can be your motivation at times, but it's not going to fuel you in the pits of despair when you feel like giving up.
Yeah.
And you have to dig deep. That's why that term, dig deep within you to find and pull out the answer
Suck it up.
that you need and suck it up, take it on the chin, and that's what it takes.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, this world and this planet and this life and our bodies have no respect or no grace for your failures.
True.
If you smash a burger, it's like, oh well, that's calories on you. And if you spend your money, it's like, oh well, you spent your money. It doesn't apologise. And I think we have to understand and learn that it's on us. We can't blame anyone, anything.
True
He's
that.
got it better, she's got it better. He had a better, head start, or they're more talented. There's no excuse. Like, we have to own it. There's one thing that we can decide is to be disciplined and to drive hard toward whatever that thing may be. So if you're saying, I want to live beachfront, absolute beachfront, I want to run my business from home and I want to set up a shop, or I want to do this, or whatever it might be, then you can do it, but you just have to be disciplined, put the right steps in place, and stick to it.
Yeah.
And that's a key phrase, stick to it.
And it takes those small sacrifices. Discipline is sacrifice. It's when everyone else is sleeping in, you get up. When everyone else is enjoying their beach day, you're putting in the work, like all that kind of stuff. So it is something that you've got to choose. And that's why for me it's a choice. Discipline is a choice. But it will compound into success. And a quote that I really love, I think it was, I don't actually know if it was him, but it said, does your daily routine, and for me I'd say disciplines, make your success inevitable? And that's a good question. Like, does my daily disciplines or does my daily routine make my success inevitable? Or does my daily routine, the opposite effect, make my success or my failure inevitable? You know what I mean? So I guess that's where it comes down to those daily small little consistencies that are going to compound to the greater success. And like I said, I think that's a good analogy, is like, you see the big vision and you see the great idea, but pulling it back and saying, what do I need to do every day to get that, to achieve that goal, to get to that destination, and making the decision and the commitment and diligence to step it out one step at a time.
That's it. Cool.
Motivation versus discipline. Good.
Any other key? I think we've hammered the points.
Yeah, I think that's good. No,
It's not painting motivation in a bad light, but it's just bringing perspective that all the hypey, lighty, glimmery side of things still needs the grit, sweat equity, and the fire beneath it.
Yes.
I think that's what we're saying today. But,
I agree.
You guys, but ultimately, anybody who's watching this today, you have the power to change your situation. I'm talking to people, it could be a health issue that you've just learned to manage and live with. It could be your work position or lack of work position, or you think, man, I'm not really educated enough, or I don't have what it takes. Look, to be honest, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of opportunities out there that I can guarantee you could do.
Yeah.
And if you're motivated enough and you believe in yourself and you can deal with the deeper, maybe flaws and character flaws and disciplines, then you can move it forward. So look, ultimately we want you to succeed. These aren't just an opportunity for us to share our opinion and talk. we really hope to spark a fire in the belly
Yeah.
of anyone who watches so that they can move forward in their life. And like us, you're on a journey, we're on a journey.
Yeah.
But, comment. We'd love to, give any feedback to you guys if you got questions. And we'd love to see you succeed and for your whole
Yeah.
family to look at you and go, wow, who is this guy? Who is this woman? They are on
Exactly.
fire. So that's
Exactly.
really our heart's prayer and our belief today.
Yeah,
That's good.
and it's just some encouragement to you. Like, if you think, oh man, I need to make a dramatic transformation or change in my life, that's great. You've identified it. You know what you need to change, but don't feel like it all has to happen instantly.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Yeah.
where people can make that mistake, is they feel like they have to do it. Everything has to be perfected now, but the reality is like, make some small changes and be consistent with them. Start to implement something in your day, or start to remove something from your day that isn't adding value to you and isn't taking you in the direction that you need to go to. So just think about that, and take some time. If this is something you really want to work on in your life, take some time to actually write down, say, what would 3 things be that I think I can do, 3 small things that I can do consistently daily that are going to add value to me and are going to advance the goal or the purpose that I see. And what are 3 things that I think I can remove that are not adding any value and are actually steering me in the wrong direction, and start with those. Just start with that, be consistent with it, and have a look at what it looks like and where you are in like 30 days.
Yep.
Then have a look at where you are in 60, 90, 100 days. You know what I mean? Like, just go for those little milestones. Don't feel like you have to overnight transform. And I feel like that's the danger in a lot of, say, I myself, I enjoy them as well. I like that kickstart when I think of challenges, or I like the accountability when I think of challenges as well, which is great. But sometimes people who, if those haven't been working for you in a sense, like, maybe try and think of breaking it down, into smaller sort of palatable changes, as opposed to that like cold turkey instant change, and then it only lasts for like 2 weeks, and then you're back on the same track. So
you've got to take the first step, to climb the mountain, and don't measure against others for their success,
do
or
not
go,
compare yourself.
she's this or he's that, and you are really just battling and reshaping and sculpting your finances, your physical world, your spiritual life, whatever it is, or your mindset. It's on you just to better yourself. So that's where the competition should lie, really.
Yeah, definitely. And on that note, every Monday night we actually, and if you guys tuned into our Sunday night virtual service, we had a panel with a few people who shared a little bit of their journey with our 10X classes. So just to put a bit of a plug there, every Monday night, and we are actually coming back together locally here in the Gold Coast. We're going to be kicking those off in the real near future, in the next few weeks, back in the Gold Coast, but also online. You can tune in online. So we've got our 10X classes, which just relevant to what we're talking about, really just helps with, and it's a kingdom perspective on like finance, but not just finance, like sort of disciplines and things that you can change in your life, goal setting, all that kind of stuff. So if that sounds like something you're like, what, I need this, I would love to be a part of that, feel free to private message our page. And also, if you want to get a bit more connected into, especially if you're local, but if you want to get a bit more connected into our Destiny Church Hub, we actually do have a Facebook group called Destiny Church Connect Hub. So the Destiny Church Connect Hub, find us on here, and you can join the group, and you can definitely get connected. And because that's what, with Sam and I sharing about doing life, it really is about those practical things we can apply to our lives to advance us and to take us to a whole new level. So that's us, baby.
That's us. That's our show for the day.
For the week, but we are so excited because we've got a massive weekend ahead of us, don't we?
We do. We have our Jubilee Conference. We are based here in Gold Coast. Obviously, we can't fly back to New Zealand, but man, we're looking forward to that. And if you're watching this and you're turning up, look, come expectant. Don't just turn up and go, oh, you know, I can't wait to see everyone, that's cool. But Bishop will be bringing a word, and, you know, it's going to be the setup. I call it the setup
Yes.
for the next 6 months, because we have 6 months left in this year. And let's make it the best part of the year. It's to some they're going to be, oh, that's going to be easy. But look, not just the best, but, you know, some of the most blessed as well.
Amen.
So come expectant, come ready, come fired up, glean, grab and receive that word and apply it, into your life. And we can't wait to celebrate that. It's going to be cool.
That's us.
But that's us. God bless you. Have a wonderful afternoon, and we will see you on this show next week. Otherwise, we'll see you whenever we do. Cool.
See you guys.